This film has nothing to do with what we've seen so far. Except for one thing. The big fluffy Wookiee we saw at the end of the last one. The one Yoda said goodbye to. Apart from him, you could literally start a new trilogy with this film. This film just feels like the first in a series. This is a weird one. Welcome on to Rejected, where we either reject or rejoice in all things everything. And today, Solo, a Star Wars story. A lot of people turned around to me and said, hey, you're doing the Rejected Saga, you're doing the Skywalker Saga, that's 9 films. What do you mean you're doing 12? Well, I decided to put films in that related to the series, and to be honest with you, 12's a good number. I didn't just want to do 9 and skip out other things that could be spoken about when it comes to the Skywalker Saga. And this time, we're doing things solo. Yes, that is a wank joke. Disney purchased Lucasfilms from George for some money. Big money. Big enough that you'll never see it kind of money. That money. And in doing so, acquired its main series, Star Wars. At the time, this meant the 6 films in the series and all other projects. But it was expected that they would expand on the story. They announced that they were going to do a trilogy of new Star Wars films linked to the 6 previous films. Okay, sounds cool. They wanted to expand even more the franchise. So how are you going to do that? Oh, spin-offs. With ideas such as spin-offs based on our beloved characters throughout the series, and one of these was Han Solo. This film is an origin story about a character that is much beloved in the traditional Star Wars trilogy, and if you're following the timeline set from The Phantom Menace to the very last film of the series, for the sake of this review and the series, we've never met Han Solo before. So who is Han Solo? He's an outlaw, a man on his own, and his trusty sidekick, Chewbacca. That is the Wookiee Yoda said goodbye to, as a nice callback to the original trilogy made for Star Wars. That was a lovely touch. That's where Chewie is. He looks fine. He's a high-ranking officer in his own army brandy bollocky land. So now we're going to find out how these two met. But what would Solo bring to the franchise? What would Solo bring to expand on the character that is Han Solo? This is an origin story about him. We're going to find out what happened, how he became this outlaw, this renegade, this rebel. How has he become the Han Solo we all know him to be? This film's just going to be made up of quotes, isn't it? But until we hear those quotes later on in the series, for now, they don't exist. So we need to know what the hell is going on. But that's okay. At this time, we'd already had other prequels released. We'd already had an expansion to the universe. Everything's fine for Star Wars. So why don't we take a look at the franchise's second biggest flop at the box office. Wait, what? Yep, the second lowest box office result. By its second weekend, Solo had flopped by 65% from its opening weekend. And with a budget of $300 million, it had only made $115 million back. By this time, it's made around $400 million back. However, with a budget of $300 million, it needed to make at least $500 back just to break even. It sounds complicated when you put it like that. That's $200 million more than the budget. But when you consider everything else that goes into a film, pre-production, planning, editing, post-production, the artists, absolutely everything, they ain't made shit back on this film yet. So to this day, it's, well, except for the Clone Wars, which is an animated side story to the prequels, this is Star Wars' biggest flop. So let's get into it. We meet Han. He seems to be driving in the lovely streets of, Liverpool? No, Corellia, where he plans on escaping a life of crime and near-death experiences with his friend Kira, played by the angel Amelia Clark.
It's huge and it's pink and I don't know what to do.
They intend to leave their lives as being part of a gang. But when Han gets questioned on what happened on his recent outings by,
Well, what happened?
a massive penis, he decides to shine a little light on the situation. But now he kind of has to get away from the people that somewhat kind of own him. This whole story basically means that a lot of crime syndicates are running rampant all over the galaxy. They are against the Empire, but secretly sell shit to the Empire. They want to make money in their own pockets. In retrospective, the bad guys are the actual bad guys, but in this, they're the good guys, because the bad guys that we actually don't like are also bad. But Han and Kira manage to get away, so hopefully Han doesn't get the two of them stuck. Seriously, dude, just take a corner. They make it away and intend to bribe an Imperial officer with stolen starship fuel, which works momentarily. Until Kira gets caught. Come on, Han. Right? 101. Be a gentleman. Ladies first. If you knew that, she'd have been fine. You might have got caught, but she'd have been fine. But with Kira gone and the guards approaching very quickly, Han is free and plans to join the Imperial Army. Our good guy in this are joining the bad guys. Yeah?
I don't have people. I'm alone.
Because so far in this film, he's been called Han. That's his name, Han. Han. No Han, it's Han. So how did Han become Han Solo? Where did he get the Solo nickname from?
Solo.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. A Nazi. So Han joins the army for a couple of years. This is really cheerful for an origin story about one of the most beloved characters of the franchise. But never mind, hey? At least he's not about to talk to a criminal posing as a captain to steal a ship.
Well, if you're not interested in me, I think the lieutenant might be very interested in you.
Han, if you're going to try and be clever, be clever. Well, he meets Tobias Beckett and his team. But it looks like Han isn't the best at making friends.
Lieutenant, we have apprehended a deserter. Take him.
Just like butter melting on a fat guy's asshole. Smooth.
Feed him to the beast.
The beast? Wait, there's a beast? Hold on, move it!
So Han Solo, to put a long story short, gets dropped into a pit. He's going to get devoured by some creature in a hole. Woo! A Wookiee. We like Wookiees. And it turns out, this is our good friend Chewbacca. He's nice, isn't he? We like Chewbacca. He was very nice to Yoda. There's nothing wrong with Chewbacca. He's going to be such a lamb. Well, Han, it's nice knowing you, but you're fucked. Better get talking Wookiee.
Yeah, I speak a little now. Just listen.
Well, the two break out and make their way to the stolen ship. Beckett at first is hesitant, but allows Han and Chewie to board, becoming part of the crew. Oh, he's been alone for so long. Oh, he watched his best friend, or love interest, get taken away by the guards and then become part of the army, and he's been in the army for a couple of years and he nearly got eaten by a Wookiee who now is his friend, and they're breaking out together, and now he's got a ragtag group of criminals, and it's gonna be like he's got a lot of friends back and a family. Oh, this is so sweet. Hope it doesn't go wrong on the first mission. The team's plan is to steal a shipment of coaxium, the same fuel used to bribe the Imperial officer to let him through. If this film is all about that shit and it's, oh look, it's just a coinky dink, that's poor storytelling. With help of his wife Val and the pilot Rio, not the bird,
Do you think I am an idiot?
Beckett agrees to let Han and Chewie take part in the heist. So, to Vandar 1.
Here they come!
Only a couple of guards to take care of, you know. Nothing too stressful. Seemed pretty easy, to be fair. Oh look, space pirates! These cats are here to steal the stolen goods at the end of the heist. Not a bad plan, to be honest with you. Let someone else do the hard work and then just take the shit at the end. And then, oh, we didn't steal it, we found it because they had it and we took it from them. So we can't really steal it from someone who stole it from someone else because it's not theirs to steal, so we just took it. Finders keepers, losers weepers. But I doubt things are going to go that wrong. Rio's dead. Val's now dead. And the coaxium did go boom. Go boom. Which is a massive problem, because coaxium was actually an order from a high-ranking officer called Vision. Sorry, Dryden Voss. Dryden Voss has a... His face is weird. Can this man seriously not act in anything and not have his face fucked with? I mean, seriously, Disney, what the fuck? Who is part of a crime syndicate called Crimson Dawn. And while waiting to see him, more coinky dinkies.
Chewie, would you please?
But now Beckett is in trouble, so Han has an idea. To steal the fuel when it's at its most unsustainable, to the point where it could kill them all if it explodes. Cracking idea. Don't get on my ship. With no other idea in sight, Dryden agrees, but sends Kira with them. Ooh, little bit of romance there. Could be interesting. Subtlety is the best policy, lads. Come on, settle down. But they don't have a ship. Where the hell are they going to find one? Lando Calrissian. And any Star Wars fans knows this story. Han won Lando's ship in a card game. So, this is the scene where Lando and Han play a card game to which Han...
What's the buck?
Loses. But Lando, knowing Kira, agrees to join the crew. For a percentage, obviously. Gotta get that earning. Can't borrow my ship if I ain't having anything back, motherfuckers. We also meet a new droid called L3. Lando's co-pilot, which is, very...
Good luck finding it.
L3!
Yeah. They travel to Kessel and begin their plan to capture the coaxium. And how does that plan start? That's a step back for me. I don't see that as progressing in a plan.
Really?
But it's all in the plan. To pretend that Han and Chewie are slaves and that Kira is there to discuss a trade. So when the plan is in motion, everything goes well. Except L3.
Free your brothers and sisters or something. Just give me some space.
Well, she starts a riot,
I created a distraction.
causing the whole place to turn into a madhouse. Han gets the coaxium, Chewie saves more Wookiees, that's nice, and Karma bites L3 on the buttocks. She dead. L3's dead. At least she didn't have the best navigation system to take them from Kessel. Oh wait!
You said yourself she's got the best navigational database in the galaxy.
At least there isn't an Imperial blockade that's heard about this little revolution and think, ooh, it's the rebels starting up. Ooh. Oh wait! While Lando intends to plug L3 into the system of the ship, Han is now in control of the Millennium Falcon. If only he had a good co-pilot. Chewie, You, my lad, are full of surprises.
190 years old?
So after a few close calls and lucky fucking escapes, they get away from the Imperial fleet. Luckily, does this mean that they're free? No, because now they're not flying in a direct line from the Kessel Run. Giant squid space alien looking motherfucker. Hopefully Han doesn't try anything stupid like that alleyway again.
Wait, what?
Remember that alley we slipped through in the Santee shipyards?
Yeah, I remember. I remember it didn't work.
This time it's gonna.
Fucking dumbass, why don't risk this shit? Just fly, you fuckhead. Well, I think a little kick of coaxium should have a little boost. Anyone else's face getting ripped off? Doing the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. I wonder if that's going to be brought up again in the series. Ever. So they gently land on Severine. Smooth landing. Again, fat man, butter, asshole. Where the coaxium is converted into fuel. That should go nicely. Space Pirates. Enfys Nest. That's a weird name. Luckily with Lando in the Falcon, Han is going to play one of his tricks and pretend he's got some backup in... Yeah, Han. Shut the fuck up.
Sorry. Do your thing.
Enfys Nest reveals the truth of the Crimson Dawn and how they are in deals with the Empire. So the bad guys are the bad guys.
You know we can't give the coaxium to Dryden Voss.
But this is enough to swing Han over. He really is a good guy. But Beckett's in debt with a lot of bad people and not interested in taking down Dryden Voss and Crimson Dawn and...
What's on Tatooine?
I wonder what the fuck is on Tatooine. Everything's on Tatooine. What the fuck is so special about Tatooine? Is it the 2 moons? Han, Chewie and Kira deliver the coaxium to Dryden Voss, but Dryden is acting a little fishy.
How'd you do it? Looks exactly like the real thing.
I don't know, dude. That is pretty convincing shit. That is very, 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 very glowy.
You weren't paying attention. I told you don't trust anybody.
Oh, Beckett, you little devil. Very cheeky there, son. To be fair, the very first job he brought Han and Chewie on, his wife died and his mate died, leaving him alone. So, I ain't gonna be loyal to them 2 motherfuckers. So for Beckett, fuck 'em, like. So with Enfys Nest captured, Han and Chewie cornered, how would you escape? Being Han Solo, you do things clever. And properly. Bring the explosive fuel with you, and expect them to think it was a fake. It's a good thing because I would have laughed if Dryden Voss had picked up and goes, oh no, this shit's fake. Threw it to the floor, kaboom. Credits, no Han Solo. So Beckett takes the coaxium, and Han and Voss basically play who's got the biggest weapon. And the winner is... Kira. Kira is a lifelong member of Crimson Dawn. Just kidding. Fuck Vision, he's got a pebble in his head anyway, fuck him. So Han goes to save Chewie from Beckett, while Kira makes a phone call. I guess she is stuck in Crimson Dawn all her life, but what's Crimson Dawn?
One man couldn't have done this alone.
Wait, you were cut in half. Darth Maul's back in the series, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to have a huge impact on all of the franchise. I knew he did. I knew they didn't just waste him in the first one for no reason. They had to bring him back for... he's having a huge... He actually dies before the next 3 films in the Skywalker saga. See, here's the thing. The average consumer knows the 9 films. They might see the spin-offs and go, whoo, there's a Solo film. And then go, whoo, they brought Darth Maul back. He was chopped in half. That's because they're not watching the animated series, they're reading the comic books, they're reading the graphic novels, they're reading the lore, the games, they're not reading all that shit. They're the average consumer, and they're your biggest audience. They might not be the ones that spend the most money on the memorabilia and the collectibles, but that's your biggest audience, the people that go to the cinema to watch the film because, hey, I like the other one. Your biggest audience is the average consumer, and Star Wars has the average consumer. So seeing Darth Maul brought in now, but for us to know he's not in any of the other films, did he need to be in this? It was a nice surprise, but he has nothing to do with the rest of the series. But for those of you who know the Star Wars history, Darth Maul got new legs.
Magic legs.
Han How the fuck did you get there first? Be honest with me. And you know what? This right now is the most accurate depiction of Han Solo.
Because now I'm going to tell you the most important.
Shoot him while he's talking. And I'll explain that when we get to that film. Beckett down, Solo and Chewie hand the coaxium to Enfys Nest. Story over. Wait. Han doesn't have the Millennium Falcon. Anyone fancy another game of cards? But Lando, this time, no cheating, bud. And now, as the film ends, Han Solo has taken control of the Millennium Falcon with his co-pilot, Chewbacca. This film takes place before A New Hope, but long enough after Revenge of the Sith. But this is a chapter on the edge of the series, with all due respect, that doesn't even need to be there. It was just made to exist. Designed around quotes of the franchise, this isn't a story based on an actual story. This is... Do you remember when Han Solo once said this? Well, now we're going to show you how that happened. Look, he told us it happened. We believe him. He's not lying. We don't need to see it happen. This film is basically made of Han Solo said this once. This is how it happened. That doesn't make a good origin film. I want to know why he is the way he is. What turned him into the way he is. He was already a cheeky motherfucker before he even joined the Imperial fleet. So, there's no character growth to become the man who we would then see later on in the series. So the question pretty much is, at the end of the day, do we need a 2-hour film to see how Han Solo A, met Chewie, and B, got the Millennium Falcon? And for me, that's a no. I can truly see why this film bombed. Don't get me wrong, it was shot beautifully. Ron Howard has a way with making stories feel real. But this story is just, remember when this was in Star Wars? And that doesn't make a good watch. So, to review this, for story, how did Han Solo and Chewbacca meet? How did Han Solo get the Millennium Falcon? Do you really need this to be explained though? Not really. So I'd give it a 2. They tried to add more to the story, but at the end of the day, everything else just didn't matter to the Skywalker saga and this character from the Skywalker saga. It didn't matter, so it wasn't bad, but wasn't good enough. However, for execution, this film is shot well, the acting is decent, and give credit to Aiden Ehrenreich, he gave something to a young Han Solo. A lot of people would just have expected a bad Harrison Ford impression, but he did well. And to be honest, at times, I love the subtlety in the Kessel Run, especially the shot of the Imperial blockade. So for execution, I'd happily give this a 3. This film doesn't hurt the franchise, not at all, but it doesn't add anything to it either. It doesn't push the buttons, it doesn't make you feel, oh, I feel better for watching that on how Han Solo did this and that. Even the important parts like how did Han and Chewie meet, it was, well, Han nearly got destroyed by Chewbacca and he basically went, no, don't do that, we can escape. And Chewie went, oh yeah mate, alright, chill. So we don't really need to pay attention to it, do we? But if you're following the story so far, the Empire have invaded every corner of the galaxy, but hope is starting to arise from small, shady parts of the galaxy itself. But what else could be hiding in the dark? And as for the Empire, where's this weapon? But thank you so much for checking out this chapter, Solo, a Star Wars story within Rejected Saga. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment down below if you have any suggestions of your thoughts about this film. Are there any things that I missed? Let me know down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, because when you subscribe you'll never miss the next chapter of Star Wars The Rejected Saga, because let you into a little secret. If I've done Solo, a Star Wars story, I'm sure there's another one. So until next time, I think we're going to need to see a couple more Rebels before we get back to the Skywalker.